All right, welcome back. This week we're gonna do something more simple. I'm gonna render a couple items on some white backgrounds and kind of just share some different options that you can use when working on white backgrounds. So I'm gonna go to Dimensiva as I've shown in the previous videos and grab a model off of there. And so I'm gonna pull a model from here. I'm probably gonna use this puppy toy. Maybe we'll add some other items after we've set up the shot, but from here, we're going to start here. And then we'll start creating our shot on different white backgrounds. So let's switch back over to Blender. I'm going to pause the video real quick and import the model, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so the first background we're going to do is just a white space, meaning no floor. It's just going to be an empty white space. The product is going to be floating, and then we're going to set up our shot from there. So as I've done before, I like to do a square shot. And then I'm going to use a 135 millimeter camera. And the reason I kind of like to use a 135 millimeters because I'm always trying to accentuate the silhouette of a product versus skewing it with like something below a 50 millimeter. So I always like to stay like, I personally shoot on a 85 millimeter with my personal camera, but in 3D, I would stay in the range of like probably 50 millimeter to 135 or even maybe 200 in some cases. But I personally go from like 85 to 135 myself. So if you want some lens ranges, there you are. Going below like 50, you start to really distort the product. And sometimes when you're creating certain shots, yeah, you'll go in that area to where you have some very dynamic shots, but like a lot of 90s shots were like that, where they would use these really wide lenses. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna move this camera in a little bit, shift it, and then I'm gonna take the product, I'm gonna just shift it around a little bit and kind of just pose it for this shot. So do something like that, get a good read, and then I'm gonna duplicate it also, turn it around, kind of get another angle of the product too. And then go over here, kind of look at it from the side view, maybe shift it forward a little bit. That's pretty cool. Just make sure they're not intersecting also. And then create just a little bit of space so there's no tangents happening. And then maybe I can take the whole thing and rotate like that, shift it. And we'll start with something like this. Okay. So this is our first shot we're going to do. It's on a white background, just empty space. And so I'm going to start the rendering, and then I'm going to turn off this here so I don't have anything, just a clean render window. And we're going to start setting everything up. So as this is my default file, there's no lights, nothing. It's on a transparent background. I'm going to go to my render settings here to film and turn off the transparent. So now we have a black background. And then I'm going to go to my world settings here. And then I'm going to turn this background to pure white, 255. So now we got a pure white background. And the problem now I'm having is that my product is lit from the white background, but I don't want that. So we can easily change that by going here to ray visibility, because we're dealing with the world settings. And I can say, hey, turn off the lighting for diffuse, glossy, transmission, and volume scatter. Now, I might want to keep transmission on, because if this was a transparent product, I still want to be able to have it see-through, but not see-through into black. I want it see-through into white, which is, this is our background. So now we're still considering the background, but just only for for like glass objects, which is transmission. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the diffuse in this glossy back on, because I'm just going to work on this material real quick. And so being that this is a FBX import, we got to do some edits. So usually I like to replace the principal BSDF because there's some settings that are changed in the material that comes in with the import. So usually I'll change it, and then I'll steal the color since it does have the diffuse color on it. So we'll take that and then paste the hex code here. So now we have our color again. And then I'm probably going to set the glossiness to 0.3. I don't really know much about this product, but I'm just kind of making my own material from this, and that's okay for now, because we're just, the focus of this video is to like create different types of backgrounds when dealing with product. I'm going to give it some transmission. I'm setting it to like, oops, it's too much. Let's set it to 8 for now. So we're gonna have some subsurface scattering because based off the website, it looks like a product with some translucency, like a polycarbonate plastic or something. Maybe it's something else. I don't know yet, but that's okay. So anyway, again, so I'll show that transmission thing. So if I turn this transmission on, right, and then turn this off, this is what happens, right? Because we're saying like, hey, don't read the background. So I'm leaving this on, right? And then now I got my material set up. I don't want transmission, by the way. I'm going to turn all these items off again. I'm going to leave volume scatter off. Actually, I'm going to, yeah, it's going to be off because we're not using a volume. All right, so we got that set up for our materials, basic material set. We're not going to get into any kind of details. Again, we're just creating different options for product shots in this video. So we got the white space set up now, which is the white background. And then now we can just start working on lighting. So beauty of this style of working where you have a nice clean white background and that background is not affecting your objects is that now we get full control over our lighting. Okay. And you're going to find that this is a really simple light setup, you know? So all I'm going to do here is take this light, rotate it up, and I'm going to increase the scale, right? Something like that. I want the shadows kind of soft. I want the light source pretty close. I'm going to create an empty so that we have a target, and then we're going to use a cube. I'm going to set that size to about 6. I'm going to go to my constraints over here, track 2, and then I'm going to set this to the empty. Oops, not the camera, the empty. And now I should have a camera light target. So if I move this, I actually did something wrong. Yes, I did. So let's get rid of that. I was doing it on the light. So let's do this again. So add object constraint, track 2, select the empty, and now we have a light target. Okay. I could do this with Light Wrangler, but I just want a permanent target. So that's why I'm doing a custom one because I want a permanent one versus Light Wrangler. It activates versus it's just there. I'm going to take this and just do some quick house cleaning, organize my files or my models. Turn that off, put this in the geo. I'm going to clean this folder out or collection because I don't need all these for my template. And then we'll do that. Okay, so now we're just going to work on lighting and then go to my light settings. Again, I use Light Wrangler just as a notice. And Light Wrangler is a Blender add-on. It is called Light Wrangler if you look it up in Blender Market. So I'm going to turn on scrim. And if you guys don't know what scrim is in photography, photographers use this material called scrim and they shoot through scrim, or not shoot through scrim, but they shoot lighting through scrim, which softens the light. So I'm going to use some scrim and I'm going to turn the feathering up all the way to soften the light. And when I'm saying soften the light, I'm talking about the reflections. I don't want really, really hard reflections. So I'll show you guys real quick what's happening. So if I turn this to a purely reflective material and we look at the reflections of this object, you will see that when I turn off default, you will see like these reflections are really hard, right? Really hard reflections here, right? You see that? Now, if I turn on scrim, you will see that these reflections soften. That's not because I changed the glossiness of the material. That's because this light now has a texture source on it, which is a scrim. It's mimicking scrim. So I think there's actually a preview. Nope, it's not there. But anyway, that's the reason that I'm using this scrim, because it's a material that's used in photography to soften the light source. And that's very important when dealing with product. You want to be careful to not have your product look fake when doing these 3D renderings. And this is things that are never mentioned in 3D, is paying attention to your light source, the reflection of your light source being that. So, okay, next thing. So I got that light source there. I'm just blocking this out real quick. I'm going to duplicate this, rotate it. Oh, got something going on. Oh, it rotated automatically because the fact that I copied this over, it's still, the new copy is still respecting the fact that it has a constraint, which is tracking to this constraint, which is our target. So that's already set up. So I'm going to increase the size of this light to make it very, 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 very soft. So that's what I'm going to do on this side. So I'm just going to bring this light source closer in, move it in, and then I'm just going to increase the intensity now, because the fact that it's gotten bigger, the light source has gotten weaker. So what I'm going to do is just increase the intensity now. Okay, I don't want that. It's too much. 32. Let's go 50. Yeah, 48 is a good start. All right, so we got that. Maybe I'll play with this light a little bit too now that we got everything blocked out. And then I'll probably take this light source because I'm looking at the top of this guy. And I probably want to rotate or just lift it up a little bit to get some more light over the top. So I might have to create 2 more lights. So I'll have one right there. And then I'll make another duplicate and have one down here. Like that. Or, you know what? This is what I'm thinking. I'm going to add a bounce card because I hate using lots of lights in my scenes. All right, so we're going to add a bounce card right above this object. So I'm going to shrink it a little bit. And then we're going to just raise the height of it. Just like that. Bounce some light back onto the top and just increase the scale. All right, right there. All right, so now we got some more light coming right there. So that's the reason I did that. So if I hide it, you'll see it gets darker, bring it back, gets lighter. And I can even add some on the bottom too if we want, right? Rotate it like that. And boom. So now we got a empty space set up, right? We got full control over our lighting on a white background. I can even start playing with it more if I want to tweak things, but we got it basically blocked out to start doing fine tuning, right? So I can sit here and say, okay, I want this side brighter. 60. Maybe I want to go with that. Okay. And then I can go back into my material because this was not supposed to be like this. We did it for the light reflection example. So I can say 0.5. And then let's say I want this material to have a coat on it too. So to bring that tight reflection. So 2 sets of reflections. And then I could turn the roughness up to like 0.2. Right. So we got 2 layers of reflections. So we got a coat material on it too now. So that's it for that one. Let's move on to another option. So the next option we're going to try is doing a, gosh, I can't even think, a cyc, which is like the rolling background. So it looks like an infinite background where object is sitting on. So we'll switch over to that. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to clean up my scene and I'll show you guys that option. Okay, so we're back. We're going to create another scene. Again, we're going to do one on a cyc. And so we got the product sitting here. And then now we need to create a background. So all I'm going to do is create a plane. And then I'm going to take this plane, scale it out a little bit, just like that. And then I'm going to go to edit mode, select my vertices. And then I'm going to take this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Make sure I got my stuff selected. Extrude. And then I'm going to take this here and then press Control B to bevel if it works. Oh, I keep messing up. So let's bevel that. I'm going to just roll my mouse wheel up to give more subdivisions in it so that it's nice and smooth. And we'll do like right about there. Good with that. And then I'm going to right click, shade auto smooth, just because I don't want to see the facetness in my geometry. So we got that set up. Now we'll look through our camera real quick. So we'll switch back here, turn off the render mode. And then we're going to just pull up our camera a little bit for the shot. Just like that. And then now we're ready to render. Okay, so let's just center the product onto the shot. And now we're just going to rotate it. And then I think we'll do 2 again. See how we can arrange this. Make sure it looks right. So we'll have one right there. Alt D to do a duplicate, which is instancing versus Shift D. You'll do a unique. And I'm going to rotate it like this. And then just do that. So we don't have a tangent. And then, yeah, I want to see all 4 legs. That's nice. So we'll do that. Let's go with that for now. Just something quick, easy. And then I'm just going to center it. And then next thing we're going to do is start lighting. So, oops, messed up. All right, so now we're going to set it to render, and then we're going to drop in a light. So area light, move it to the right of the frame. And then in the Y, want to do that, move it in, go to a top view, and then I'm going to scale it up again, soften that light, because I want really soft light, right? Remember I talked about scrim? Soft light for these product shots. It is, you know, and it depends if you want what kind of style you're going for too, but most times these lightings are soft, especially when you look at product on websites. You know, it's sometimes, a lot of times it's very soft light to blend in with the white space, because they're trying to show off all the details of the product, and you don't want things in shadow, so you want it well lit. All right, so I'm going to select this background and just ensure we have a proper material. So I'm going to add a material. I'm going to leave it at white 0.8, I believe is set to, so that's good. I'm going to turn the roughness all the way up so it's a matte material. So we're good with that. And then we'll go back to our viewport and we'll just work on our lighting. So as I had said, we'll move, nope, I'm moving my stage. Oops. So we'll take this. This is our key light, right? We want some directionality still in our shot. So this is my key light. I'll move it closer in, but I'm paying attention to the right on my frame. So as I move this light source closer, we're seeing that we're starting to get shadow, right? So I want to make sure this light floods onto the wall too. So like that. And then now I'm going to take the lighting and just brighten it up. So I'll say 64 first, 32, 16. So I'm going to go with 32 for now. No, that's too much. Let's go 24. Good start. And then with this shot, I'm probably going to take advantage of using bounce cards. So I'm going to throw a bounce card in, and I'm going to rotate this up 90 degrees. And then I'm going to move it up, scale. And then I have these freeform bounce cards in my shot. So again, I'm paying attention to the shadowing that's getting casted. And then I'm going to set this to my new material right there. Just make sure we have that right. And then I can add another bounce card in this shot. So what I can do is duplicate this, rotate it 90 degrees, right? And then set it over the top of the scene, because I want light flooding all over the place onto this product. And so now I can set another bounce light behind this product, or not behind, but on the other side too. So I'm just kind of building a little room. So, oops. So I can do this, rotate that 90 degrees, not 90, 180. And then move this in. Oops. Just like that. And then the beauty of seeing your camera is that you can take advantage of putting bounce cards here too. So I can take this and then rotate it to the degree of the camera angle, or not the camera angle, the camera cone. So I can do that also, so that I'm ensuring that I'm getting as much bounce light I can into the shot. And then I can duplicate it, move it to the other side, rotate it 90 degrees. No, not 90 degrees. But anyway, I'll just do it manually. So move it back over here, like so. Do that. All right. And so, I'm seeing some small error. Seeing some shadow here in the foreground. Let's just pull this back. And pull it this way. All right. So as you can see, we've just taken advantage of bouncing light into the scene, right? I can even go even further with this, go crazy, and take another card and put it on this angle here too, just so that I'm ensuring I'm getting all the bounce light I can. Yes, I could add more lights, but sometimes I like to work in a manner where I'm taking advantage of just one light source. Bounce cards can be very, very, very powerful in how you approach things sometimes. Now, I know in this video, I'm just showing how you can set up different rendering on white scenes, but what you want to also pay attention to is the color of your product, right? So you want to ensure that you're still respecting the color of the product that you're lighting. But that's it for this one. So this is doing one on a Cyc background, which is that, background where it looks like they're on an infinite background, but yet they still are able to cast shadow from the product. So this is how you create that. It's just a smooth corner. It's just a chamfered background, and you set a camera up straight on, and then you drop the product on the floor, and you ensure that your background is getting light too. So I'm not shooting light at a higher degree like this where I'm turning the spread down, right? I want to ensure that I'm getting light on the product. Now this is a style you can do too, where you set this at a very low spread angle, right? This is another style. So you can do a lot of different styles with this type of background, or even just all backgrounds, but you guys have to just play with this stuff. So, okay, so next we're going to do one on a reflective ground. So we're going to do a rendering on a reflective background on white too. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to set up that shot and we'll come back. All right, and we're back. So now we're going to do one on a reflective surface and with the white background. So this one is really, really simple. You're going to be surprised. So this is really cool. I like this one. So we're just going to leave this at the same angle we had it before. This is the same angle from the Cyc background shot. And what we're going to do is create a plane, scale up the plane, right? And let's make it smaller right there. Okay. So we got that. And then we're going to take this plane. We're going to create a new material. Actually, we'll start the render first. So let's start the rendering process. And we will turn this on. And then, nope, you know what? We're going to turn this off. We're going to create our own background with the plane. So we're going to create another we're going to create a custom background. So we're going to take the plane, duplicate it, rotate it 90 degrees, right? And then ensure we just have it back here like this. And then make sure that the scale of the background is proper. And then now we're going to set up our shot. So I'm going to take this and then we're going to set that to render, and we're going to make a material for the background, shader editor, new. And then I'm going to take the mission, set that to 1 like that. And then I'm going to take the ground, make a new material. And then for the ground, what we're going to do is we're going to make this fully reflective. Now, as you can see, the floor starts to blend into the background. Okay. As you can see, it's already happening. Now, next thing we need to do, you get some options here. So you can either make this black or you can make it white. And as you can see, the reflection starts to fade out. Now I'm going to make this black. Okay. Because I want to be able to get the full reflection on the floor. So after that, and then the other thing you do too, is like, say you want to add a little bit of gloss roughness to it, so you could do that too, but I want this fully reflective. All right, so now that I got that set up, all we have to do is work on some lighting. Now I have the background affecting the product, so if I didn't want that affecting the product so much, I would have to just shift this further back. So as you can see, the further it goes back, the less it's affecting the product, right? So if I want this to affect the product less, then I would just set it back here so that lighting's not casting on. And then I would just increase the scale again. So now I got complete black, right? Because I want full control over the lighting. And then I'm going to take this also and just hold it down to make sure it's sitting on the ground. Looks like it's floating a little bit like that. All right. So I'm going to add a light again. It's just a simple area light. Move it to the right. Rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to scale it up just so I have soft lighting. And then look at it, raise it up above the floor. Oops. So I'm going to raise this above the floor like so. I can play how my lighting is affecting the product. Set it like right there, maybe over here. I want to go down to light wrangler, turn on the scrim. I'm going to turn the blending or feathering all the way up, increase the intensity, say 16, maybe 32, a little too hot, 16. And then I'm going to duplicate it, go to cross, 180, scale it up just to really soften that light. Move it up. Okay. And then just shift it around to see what I get here. Okay, so we'll go something like that. Move it over in the X. I can increase the intensity. 16. Okay. And then I can add some bounce cards into the shot too. Again. So I can move this above, right? Because I want that light flooding down onto the product. So look at it off camera. Maybe bring it closer to see what comes into the shot. Something like that. And then overall, and this is the other thing. So this is how I can make this I can break this horizon line up. So now let's say I got this shot set up. So this is how I can break the horizon line up. So now we can add in depth of field, right? So I can go to my camera and then turn on depth of field for it. So I say depth of field, and then I can make it empty here, and then name this focus point, and then go back to my camera, and then camera settings, select the focus object, and I'm going to set that to the focus point. So now I just go up to my depth of field settings, say 1.4, right? I can go crazy. I don't think I have this shot to scale, so that's why, but I can go like 1, right? And now you can see it's starting to blend in, right? So that's how I can kind of blend a little bit. So that's how you can set up a shot where you have a reflective surface real easily. And the lower this camera is too, just as to show, if you move this camera around, right, it gets even more reflective too. So you can kind of see that horizon line disappears as I go lower and lower. So like that's something to keep in mind too, is like, how do you have your camera set up too? So like I could set my camera down here, right? And then I can take advantage of using, where is that setting at? There's a setting. I can either, okay, here we go. I can take advantage of using this. So I can just shift this, right? And then set that upward like that. And then I can increase how long this stage is. So I can pull it out further towards the camera, right? And now I've just furthermore blend the ground and the background because I just pulled the camera down, right? Because again, we're dealing with Fresnel reflections, and they increase based off the camera angle, you know, when you're dealing with Fresnel reflections. All right, so that's pretty much it. So this is, I just wanted to share with you guys different types of white backgrounds that you can create when making product shots. So again, we got the reflective surface, right? And then you can play with the glossiness of this too, again. So I can go to my material and I can say roughness 1.1, right? Now we got some roughness on the surface too, or go even lower, 0.05, right? Just kind of break that up. So again, 3 different types. We got this here, the reflective surface. We got one on the Cyc material, right? And then we got, which is the rolling background, it rolls up. And then we got the empty space. And the empty space, I played with the world settings again, changed this to pure white. I turned off the ray visibility for diffuse and glossy and volume scatter, so that the environment light is not affecting the product. That's why we did that. And we can even put it on a transparent background, so we still even have that option, right? And then going back through them again on the Cyc, it's actual physical background, right? So we got that. And then we have the reflective surface. So yeah, that's it. Wanted to share that with you guys. Obviously, I would do more work on this, more ambient light on this product, but hey, I'm trying to just show you guys different staging you can do. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Did something more simple this week for you all. I know I did a lot of the pyro advection stuff. Probably have some more coming down the road. I'm doing some more R&D in the background, but thanks for coming to watch this video. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.